Hello everyone. Today I will discuss about the another one neurotransmitter that is abundantly found in CNS and brain. It is basically inhibitory neurotransmitter that is glycine. So glycine, it's a major inhibitory neurotransmitter that you found in the spinal cord and the brainstem. Many of these neurons, glycine also coexist with the GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid. The synaptic availability of glycine is controlled by the two different transporter, and its postsynaptic effect are mediated by the specific chloride channel receptor. So the synaptic availability, it's depend upon the two different transporter. Later on we will discuss about the two different transporter, and the receptor channel, that is basically specific chloride channel. They will basically maintain or responsible for its inhibitory pharmacological action. In the adult nervous system, glycine exert first postsynaptic inhibition, that is important for control of the excitability of motor neuron, auditory processing, pain transmission in the dorsal horn, and other function. Co-release with GABA or co-release of GABA may affect the temporal profile of the postsynaptic effect of the glycine, because as we all know that GABA is also inhibitory neurotransmitter. So along with glycine, if GABA is secreted, it will give the synergistic or additive effect. And glycine also act as a co-agonist in NMDA receptor, that is for the glutamate excitatory neurotransmitter. So glycine is important for inhibitory neurotransmitter also, and it is also plays as a co-agonist in excitatory neurotransmitter of glutamate, which basically act on NMDA receptor type. Now the synthesis, basically it is synthesized from the glucose to it is converted to the glycerate 3 phosphate, glycerate 3 phosphate dehydrogenase, 3 phosphohydroxypyruvate, 3 phosphohydroxypyruvate glutamate transaminate, which is converted into its p-serine, p-serine phosphatase, it's converted into serine. In this in between this glutamate also converted to the alpha ketoglutarate and incorporated into the TCA cycle with the help of enzyme, that is 3p-hydroxypyruvate glutamate transaminase. Now synthesis, serine from serine, now glucose to serine is synthesized. Now from serine hydroxymethyl transferase, it will converted to the glycine. From threonine aldolase, it is converted to the glycine. Glyoxylate aminotransferase, it is converted to the glycine. Then glycine is converted into carbon dioxide and ammonia, glycine cleavage system. Further carbon dioxide and ammonia, this is a reversible reaction, can make the glycine also. So if you see that synthesis, release and reuptake of the inhibitory neurotransmitter glycine, so this is the presynaptic terminal from where you can see that glucose to serine and serine to glycine, then glycine with the generation of the action potential from the vesicle, this glycine are released into the synaptic cleft, and after synaptic cleft they are bind to the postsynaptic receptor, and binding to the postsynaptic receptor they will show the inhibitory effect. And the remaining portion of the glycine, via the glycine transporter, it will enter into the glial cell, and it will enter into the presynaptic terminal also for further use. Glycinergic neurotransmitter glycine, it's a non-essential amino acid that act as the primary neurotransmitter of many inhibitory interneurons in the spinal cord, in the brainstem. Glycine, that is catabolized via the glycine cleavage system, GCS, and incorporated into the synaptic vesicle via the vesicular inhibitory amino acid transporter VIAAT, which also mediate the vesicular uptake of the GABA. The concentration of glycine as synaptic synapse is controlled by the two high affinity sodium and chloride dependent transporter that is known as GlyT1, located primarily in the astrocyte, and GlyT2, which is located in the presynaptic glycinergic terminal. The postsynaptic effect of the glycine are mediated by the glycine receptor, which is clustered at the postsynaptic membrane by interaction with the gephyrin. Now in this picture you can see that serine is converted to the glycine BGAT in vesicle, then there is a entry of the calcium, then there is a release of the neurotransmitter glycine, the red spot, that is the glycine, and this glycine then bind to the GABA A receptor. They synergistically act on GABA A receptor. There is a specific glycine binding site, then there is a glycine receptor at the postsynaptic terminal and bind to that one, and responsible for the opening of the chloride channel and responsible for the inhibitory effect. And another important one thing that is there is another excitatory neurotransmitter that we all known as glutamate, which act on NMDA receptor. In NMDA receptor, this glycine are bind and help to the glutamate to open the ion channel, and calcium enter inside the cell and maintain the homeostasis of the excitation and inhibition at the central nervous system. Then there you can you see that this GlyT1, which is the main transporter which enter glycine into the astrocyte, and then GlyT2 which enter glycine into the presynaptic vesicle, where it further store, and as per requirement of our body it will release into the synaptic cleft and bind to the specific receptor and shows its pharmacological action. Glycine binding to the glycine receptor open the chloride channel. The resulting in the membrane potential is determined by the potassium chloride cotransporter 2, potassium and chloride cotransporter 2. In mature neuron, glycine receptor activation, which will elicit the fast postsynaptic inhibition. Many inhibitory neuron in the spinal cord and brainstem release both the glycine and the GABA. Both are inhibitory neurotransmitter, which may act as a co-agonist of glycine receptor. Glycine is an obligatory co-agonist of glutamate also. Also already I discussed that activation of the NMDA receptor, opening of the ion channel, that glycine is also required. So reciprocally glutamate may allosterically potentiate the glycine or mediated current. So means glycine bind to the glycine receptor that opening the chloride channel, that will show the inhibitory response, and glutamate bind to the NMDA receptor, and then glycine bind as a co-agonist to the NMDA receptor, and it will prevent or maintain the inhibitory postsynaptic potential ISPS current and maintain the excitation and inhibition into the central nervous system or spinal cord or brain. Now overall we will go through the already we will go through the process. Now overall we will discuss the thing. The thing are like that: a glycinergic synapse indicating potential non-glycinic receptor, target site of the drug action. In glycinergic synapse there is a non-glycinergic receptor also are present, because the glycine is not act only on the glycine receptor, but they are also act on the non-glycine receptor like GABA A, NMDA, etc. In the terminal of the glycine containing neuron, glycine is synthesized in mitochondria by serine hydroxymethyltransferase, released into the cytosol and concentrated in small clear synaptic vesicle by the vesicular inhibitory amino acid transporter VIAAT, which also mediate GABA uptake. Means VIAAT also responsible for the GABA uptake. Then excitation of the terminal means when calcium enter inside causes calcium trigger glycine and GABA. Sometimes GABA also release. So when excitation or action potential generate the opening of the calcium channel, this calcium trigger the release of the glycine into the synaptic cleft. Open postsynaptic glycine receptor and thereby increase the permeability of the chloride ion. Conductance in response to agonist binding. Transmission is terminated by the reuptake of the glycine mediated by the sodium and chloride dependent transporter, that is GlyT2 and GlyT1, which is present in presynaptic and plasma membrane. Glycine is the degrade into the astroglial mitochondria by the glycine cleavage system. Synaptic glycine receptor are encoded via the beta subunit to the submembranous scaffolding protein gephyrin, which interact with the cytoskeleton skeletal component tubulin. Gephyrin is also associated with the synaptic GABA A receptor. Via this receptor associate with the receptor activating protein. Glycine level in the synaptic cleft could be altered by the targeting several mechanism. Now how we will manage the glycine level in the synaptic cleft. So if release of glycine, we can control the release of glycine. Agonist of presynaptic GABA B receptor attenuate the above of glycine mediated inhibitory postsynaptic current. Means if glycine like any agonist we are using at presynaptic cleft, there is a GABA B receptor which will bind to that receptor and prevent the generation of glycine mediated inhibitory postsynaptic current. ATP reversibly increase the amplitude of the electrically evoked inhibitory postsynaptic current via the presynaptic inotropic P2X receptor. Activation of the presynaptic metabotropic glutamate receptor inhibit glycine release by reducing the calcium influx, means they prevent the entry of calcium. Then second portion, modulation of the glycine receptor function. Ligands such as zinc and ethanol modulate the glycine receptor mediated response. There are differential effect on synaptic versus extrasynaptic glycine receptor, and thus extrasynaptic receptor might plays an important role in the tonic inhibition of the neuron and also could provide a target to the selectively affect background inhibition. Different effect could be induced on GABA A receptor versus glycine R receptor at mixed GABAergic and glycinergic synapse. Co-transmission of the GABA and glycine result in a complex time course of the inhibitory postsynaptic current. So if GABA and glycine are secreted along at a time and along with, then they bind to their specific receptor and they can show the more potent inhibitory activity. Compound that act differently on the GABA A receptor and glycine R receptor might reshape inhibitory postsynaptic current. Calcium permeable channel, voltage activated calcium channel and P2X receptor, calcium dependent clustering and calcium induced potentiation of the glycine receptor are crucial for the maturation and plasticity of the glycinergic synapse. Uptake and degradation of the glycine. Inhibition of the glycine transporter GlyT1 and GlyT2, which are located in the presynaptic terminal and surrounding glial cell, will differentially increases glycine level in the synaptic cleft, primarily defect in the GCS within the inner mitochondrial membrane of the astrocyte, causes metabolic disorder. Inhibitor of this GCS should also increase the effective extracellular glycine concentration. Now we come to the picture. This is the vital and important thing. So in presynaptic neuron at mitochondria with the help of enzyme SSMT. The glycine is synthesized and stored in vesicle. Then you can see that there is a entry of the calcium. The calcium which when entry that is the calcium is red color, which when calcium entry it will influence the release of the glycine and GABA at the synaptic cleft. So at the synaptic cleft there is a different types of receptor are there, GABA A receptor and glycine R receptor, and extra synapse there is a glycine receptor is there. So in synaptic cleft they bind to this receptor and opening the ion channel, chloride ion channel, and show the inhibitory postsynaptic response. And in case of here you can see that number 3, that is GLYT2. So this GLYT2 they transport the glycine from the synaptic cleft to the presynaptic neuron, means reuptake of the glycine occur near about number 3. You can see that GLYT2, which reuptake the glycine from the synaptic cleft to the presynaptic neuron. Then there is a P2X receptor that allow the calcium enter inside the presynaptic neuron, which calcium will trigger the release of glycine and as well as GABA also. So and in astrocyte you can see that there was GLYT1. So it is also taken the glycine from the synaptic cleft, then glycine enter into the astrocyte. In an astrocyte it will get metabolized. So this is the GABA A receptor, which is receptor associated protein, and gephrine is associated with that one. So when bind GABA and glycine with this receptor, there is a opening of the ion channel at the postsynaptic cleft, that is the reaction number 2. There is specific glycine receptor which is associated with the gephrine. There is opening of the ion channel, there is a chloride ion enter inside the postsynaptic cleft, and extra synapse there is a glycine receptor is present. It will also maintain the sometime neuronal tone and other activity. So and there is a also voltage dependent calcium channel at the postsynaptic neuron is there, which will allow the entry of the calcium inside the cell. So ultimately in this manner it will maintain the homeostasis of the excitation and inhibition and maintain the our entire system in a homeostasis. So these are the reference from where I am collecting the data and all other things, the data and picture. So I hope you will understood, else anything you can consult. Thank you.